On affordable backyard projects today, what I'm doing is I'm in a rental here, and a lot of these switchers are pretty old, very brittle, and there's actually some of these receptacles just falling apart. It's a hazard, it's a safety hazard, electrical hazard, fire hazard. So we're gonna go through, we're gonna switch some of these out. But I wanted to take the time to really show how simple it is that you can switch out a light switch or a receptacle, and it's not really difficult. There's some basic electrical knowledge that's pretty simple. I worked in electrical trade for a little bit, and I really enjoyed it. And, so I've got a little bit of knowledge behind it, but I wanted to share it so that even homeowners can do simple projects like this, but just make sure you do it the right way. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is to make sure I turn off the power. That's always step number one. We don't want power while we're working on it. There's times I work on live circuits and it's not exciting, but always recommend turn the power off first. Now, if you're looking at this receptacle here, you got your, looking at from the front here, you have your right side, which would be your gold screws here. This is where your hot goes to. And then you have your left side here, which is your silver looking screws. This is where your white wire or your neutral will go to. And then you have your green, which is your ground, green for ground there. So when I wire this up, what I like to do is I always like to go in the same order. I like to do ground, neutral, and then my hot or my black. And so that's what we're gonna start with. Let's put this together. Now when I put these on, these already have these loops on here, so I have to put them on, but I wanna go ahead and put my loops on, kind of make sure they're good to go. And again, start with my green. And when I put this on, I wanna make sure that I'm going with the loop in a clockwise motion here. That way when I put it on and I tighten it down, it will tighten on itself and it won't come apart. So just like that, create my little hook there and just tighten it down. And same thing, moving on to my neutral here. Same thing, I wanna make sure I put it on clockwise, just like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and pinch this in. And again, whenever I put it on clockwise, like that, whenever I tighten it, it's going to tighten and just go upon it, turn upon itself, just like that. And when you put this on like this, this is kind of a good length right here. You wanna make sure your copper is touching your brass, but it doesn't touch the plastic. You don't want too much copper showing, or else it'll be easy to touch it, or want to keep it short, so that's about the perfect size. Since I'm not going to use this screw, I'm going to go ahead and screw it in. That way there's nothing sticking out that can complete a circuit later on. So now I got it, flip over, same thing, get my black wire here, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on just like this. Again, I'm doing that loop to the clockwise motion. When I tighten it, it'll just tighten upon itself and give a nice, good, secure connection, just like that. And again, you can see that copper wire kind of loops around, almost touches upon itself there. Same thing, I'm not using this top one, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that down. Now, if you notice on this, there are some tabs here. You got a tab here, one on each side. And these tabs are there. Right now, as you can tell, they're connecting the top and bottom screw. So it doesn't really matter which screw you put the wire on. The only reason it's like that is if you want to cut that later on, if you wanted to have, for instance, a switch controlling the top portion of this for like a lamp or something, and you can have the bottom powered all the time, that's where you could cut that, but we're not doing that. We want top and bottom having powered at all times, so we're gonna leave it just like that, and that's really all it is. We're gonna push this back in here, and we're gonna secure this to the wall. Now we got that in there. Nothing like a nice, new, clean plate. Receptacle cover here to put on. And I'm going to go ahead and screw it in. Just like any professional, I'm going to make sure that my screw is going up and down. Nice, clean finish. And there is some debate here. If someone wants to argue in the comments, go ahead. Well, basically, this is what I would consider right side up. Some would actually put it in what I would consider upside down like this, and where the ground is on top. And the reason they do that is if your plug-in's not plugged in all the way, something falls, it'll hit the ground first. And so there is kind of a reason behind it, but there's really no code, or there's no really determined way. Typically you'll see them upright, like just like this, but some prefer to put upside down, but you can argue about that in the comments, which one's better, but that's how I like to do it. Nice, clean finish, and that's all it is, a switch out a receptacle.